I want to see if I got my timeline correct, so bear with me just a little bit. A week ago, I make this video pertaining to people out there who want to be a part of the change, yet they're too lazy to start said change because they don't want to be first. They just want to stand behind somebody who's more bold than they are to start that change just so that they could say, yeah, we're doing it, while they sit in their homes crisscross applesauce or inside of their car complaining about the world and how they want to see things in their own image. But again, they're too scared to start it because being the one who started is more difficult than being someone who's just talking about it. And I thought to myself, I never really said it in that video, I thought to myself, that moment will come where something occurs that would allow people like that to say, see, we were right, this is what happens, and this is starting to create that shift. And it would be something stupid that would create no significant change in this world whatsoever. And I didn't expect it to come a full week later, because apparently we have cops getting a phone call of a stolen car. They find the stolen car. There are a bunch of teenagers in that car. They start asking questions, and then the teenagers just start scattering. They run for the hills. Already a bad situation. And one of these teenagers ends up getting shot by one of the cops.
He had a bed to come home to. I'm so sorry. This was never supposed to happen to you.
We do know that he exited the vehicle with a gun in his hand. The officers saw that.
What we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine.
So you just heard from the family of Ryan Hinton and their attorney today as they spoke publicly for the very first time since Hinton was shot and killed by Cincinnati police last week.
Brady Williams spoke with our legal analyst about that investigation, what it would entail, and what they're looking for.
They were trying to figure out what the shooting was justified.
Yes, so when the police chief spoke last week, she explained that this is all under investigation, and she urged people to wait for these processes to play out and let these things happen. Well, now that the family also has someone in here investigating all of this, we wanted to talk to our legal analyst about what exactly they're going to be looking for. Mark Crumbine explained to me that in all of these situations, whether you're a civilian or a police officer, it all comes down to, is this self-defense?
The criteria for a civilian and a police officer aren't that far apart.
Fox 19 legal analyst Mark Crumbine says anyone using a weapon in self-defense needs to be able to demonstrate it was truly defense. That's what the family of 18-year-old Ryan Hinton have hired an attorney to investigate.
We are answering or looking for the answer through our investigation of whether or not it was proper, whether or not the policies were followed appropriately, and whether or not by law and by facts that tragic death was considered in the eyes of the law as justifiable.
The shooting was Thursday when a Cincinnati police officer shot and killed Hinton after he ran from a stolen car. For it to qualify as self-defense, Crumbine says they must also demonstrate that that feeling of danger was reasonable, and for police, they need to have followed their agency's protocols.
Still have to feel that they are in imminent danger of severe bodily harm or death in order to respond with deadly force themselves.
This is footage of the incident. Police say the officer had been told Hinton was armed. Crumbine says the family's attorney will want to see more footage to verify that.
Did they have a weapon? Was the weapon pointed at them? Was the weapon about to be pointed at them? Was there motion where the weapon was coming up towards them? These are things we can't tell by the videos, but they would be critical as to whether somebody was defending themselves or not.
Essentially, Crumbine says investigators from law enforcement and the family side of things will be reviewing this footage and all other footage from the encounter to determine if the officer followed protocols and if the situation was truly dangerous enough to warrant the taking of Ryan Hinton's life.
That the county prosecutor will look into it thoroughly also to see if anything wrong has been done. So I'm sure they might even convene a grand jury or something like that to look at the evidence.
And as the day has gone by of me recording this, there are people discussing of whether or not they could see a gun that the kid was having, or that he pointed the gun at an officer and the officer shot. And I'm gonna tell you with all honesty, after watching that body cam footage several times, I can't deduce shit. Why? Because for some reason, we gave the worst quality of cameras to cops. And we think that staring at an image that's blurry as all fuck is an indicator of something being in the kid's hand. Now, they did find a gun with a magazine on the kid's person, and I believe in the body cam footage, they're yelling out gun, 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 and I'm supposed to sit here and believe that because the kid kind of looks like this, I'm supposed to magically start seeing something. I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't see anything because of the quality of the video. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I see something. I'm not gonna say something's not there because I can't deduce shit. All I have to go on is the information that is publicly available about what the cops saw on his person and confiscated and brought up as evidence in their investigation. You got the police chief looking at this and saying that officer feared for his life in the circumstance. It's something that I've said numerous times about how cops gotta worry about themselves and the surrounding area. But again, based off the body cam footage, I can't tell what's there or what's not there. And the response to this from the family, of course, they have to go in and identify the body and look at the body camera footage and see their family member no longer on this earth. They're distraught, they're sad, they're crying. There's one individual that really has no opinion on it, to the point where they can't finish the video, the father. And the father just goes off into the sunset, never to be seen again until the next day, where he finds a random cop and runs him over and kills that cop.
Now leading the way on breaking news, the man accused of hitting and killing a Hamilton County deputy with his car yesterday is now being held without bond.
Rodney Hinton Jr. made his first court appearance just about an hour ago, and WLWT News 5's Giacomo Luca was there in the courtroom for that hearing. He is leading the way with what unfolded. Good morning, Giacomo.
Tiffany, a very challenging morning in the courtroom. Rodney Hinton Jr. appearing to show no remorse for that alleged attack. As he was being escorted out of the courtroom, he appeared to shout at deputies he's going to be gone forever, though it's unclear if he's referring to the deputy that he's accused of killing or his son, who was killed by a Cincinnati police officer on Thursday. Here's what we learned from court earlier this morning after that tense appearance, surrounded by dozens of deputies inside and outside the courtroom. We're learning more details from the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office about what's now being called a deliberate attack. Prosecutors say witnesses watched Hinton stop his car outside of graduation ceremonies for students at the University of Cincinnati, then ram the recently retired deputy who was outside his vehicle conducting traffic, ultimately ending his life. Now, the defense explained that this has been an emotionally charged week for Hinton after his son was killed by that Cincinnati police officer on Thursday. Meanwhile, Hinton is going to be held at the Claremont County Jail by the judge's order for his safety until a no bond appearance is set to determine whether or not he'll be held as that judicial process plays out.
Which is the reason we saw this video going around of a dude getting perp walked to sit next to his defense lawyer with about, 30, 40 cops all in one room, which I thought was fucking weird. But when I found out why, I was like, oh, they're trying to intimidate him. And he's not going for it. And it was kind of gangster, I'm not gonna lie. But the grim reality of you going to jail really made it a little bit less gangster, because you did kill somebody in an act of vengeance for your son being killed by the cops. And what's weirder is that, remember what I said about how there are people who will sit in their homes and sit in their cars very comfortably while someone else does the work necessary? They're going around saying this is eye for an eye.
This superhero right here, his name is Rodney Hinton Sr. He had a son named Rodney Hinton Jr. Unfortunately, his son was gunned down by the police. I'm not about to tell you about the details and all of that. You can go look it up yourself. You can go look at the police footage yourself. But he actually waited. He looked at the police footage, and I guess he felt as if it was not justifiable for the police officer to take his son's life. So what he did was get into his car. He went 100,000 miles an hour, and he ran into the cop. He ran over the police officer that gunned down his son, and he took that police officer's life. My opinion on this, we've done the marching already. We've already tried talking to the politicians. We've cried out. We've done everything we needed to. Nothing seems to change. When you're dealing with a bully, okay? When you're dealing with somebody who does not understand reasoning and they do not care about the logic of it all, they just want to enforce their power amongst you because they cowards. They only understand violence. Bullies only understand strength. We've already done the marching, we've done the communication, we've done this for decades. We've already had the Tamir Rices, we've already had the George Floyds, we've already had the Trayvon Martins. We done with that. I remember the great Malcolm X, he said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's a great religion. And the only group of people that will resent a religion like that is a wolf who intends on making you their meal. We done being y'all meal. We done being y'all meal. Where is this man's GoFundMe so I can start sending in my money?
Just so you know, I am 100% with what Rodney Hinton Jr. has done after what had happened to his son. I'm 100% with what he has done after what has happened to his son. I'm 100% with him after seeing what happened to his son. I'm a father, I'm a dad, I'm a proud father, I'm a dad. This dude had no record, no criminal record. The dad I'm talking about. His 18-year-old son was murdered by the police unarmed. This father who teaches his son the right things to do watches his son leave by the hand of probably a racist police officer. I'm 100% with what he has done. 100%.
Did you hear about that dad who understood the assignment? You take one of mine, I take one of yours. And I believe if we all started operating in that manner, we will find less of us unalived by people in blue.
Rodney Hinton Jr.'s dad is why I try to explain to people, especially like the law-abiding citizen type, that they are wrong. There are cases, multiple cases, especially in the case of a father who actually saw video of how his son passed, who heard a story that was proven false, and then saw the proof, where the only justifiable action is as such. And I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, gay, straight. I don't care if you're alien. There is a such thing as a justifiable crash out. This is one of those things. And the unfortunate reality is, in a case like this, look, they're not going to tell you the name of the person who actually did it, right? You're not going to be able to get your hands on that person. So you know what's going to happen now? In order for you to even live with yourself, you got to get somebody. The evil world we live in. But as a man, it's some stuff. It's some stuff, bro.
Man, one time for brother Rodney Hinton, man. Bro did what he had to do. It's still, you know what I'm saying, it's a but in there, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say but, man, this, you know, like, he still didn't get the one, you know what I'm saying? That's not really revenge at this point because he's still gonna be locked up. Like, damn, bro, the nigga that killed my son is still out there. Bro, why didn't I get him? It's gonna eat him up. The rest of this time, he gonna be in prison. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna eat him alive this whole time. It's like me being a black man and all the stuff that happened to me in my life and all the stuff I see happen to my people from police. Like, it's hard to feel sorry for a police. But at the end of the day, that was an innocent cop. That man ain't had shit to do with shit. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my only problem with the issue. But like I said, man, hey, but it's just gonna eat him alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna be in prison the rest of his life, mad at himself for not getting the right one, though. That's what's crazy about it. That's what I don't like about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he just should have thought that out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Personally, I don't view it as eye for an eye. I view it as a bunch of people having their own opinions about something, trying to make it bigger than what it is. Here's what I think it is. A father lost his son, so he took his anger out the wrong fucking way. And now his son's in the ground and he's going to jail for a long time. So that family that lost the son now has lost the father, and now they're just going to have to sit and deal with the publicity of having all of this around them and negatively affecting them as the days go on. And what's even weirder than that is, remember the video from the other day where people thought it was a great idea, since Carmelo Anthony's getting all this money, because you got people who want to stick it to the white people in order to get justice for somebody who you don't really have full context to in terms of the story. You're just believing fanatical Facebook stories. So they decided that when a woman went viral for saying the N-word, they decided, hey, we're going to stick it to you people and make sure that this woman gets $500,000+ or maybe $600,000+ now, given the timing that I'm recording this video, because I'm recording it on Monday night. these people have decided because of this, they're going to start a GoFundMe for this guy so that they could have money on his books. And it's this really stupid ass fucking game where I feel solidified in saying once one side does something, the other side's going to turn around and do the exact same thing. And it's going to be this big fucking kerfuffle of confusion where everybody's spitting their own random takes about how they're justified and giving money to something that they know they don't care about in the next 5 fucking months. Here's my real issue. In terms of the entire thing around the cop and shooting the dude and responded by killing another cop, you got nowhere doing that. You lost the son, and I understand the grief in dealing with that. People are going to have this conversation about, well, how did you raise your son? But we can do that another time. You lost your offspring, and that is tragic. You turning around and just killing a random cop solved nothing, because they're going to hire somebody else to fill his spot. They're going to bury him in the ground, and it's going to be back to business as usual while you suffer the consequence of sitting in jail next to Big Tyrone. That's your burden to bear, and maybe you proud of that. Maybe you can hold your own to the point where you will be Big Tyrone in jail. But the thing that upsets me is the amount of people sitting there saying, yeah, because you are sitting comfortably at home, making no significant change in any of this conversation. You are sitting there thinking that, this is great. This is what happens. And this is how things are going to start going on from now on.
An eye for an eye. You heard what I said, an eye for an eye. They unalived his son, so then he unalived one of theirs, right? Am I right or wrong? Okay. He did what he had to do. You took my baby, so I'm going to take one of yours. That man never did nothing wrong in his life. But once you fuck with his child, it's over. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I seen them pictures with all the cops standing there and shit. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all take us out every day.
Rodney Hinton was like, I'm not like everybody else. I'm riding for mine. So it all started because Rodney's son was riding around like a Kia boy. Y'all know them stolen Kias. Rest easy. So they say he had a pum-pum in his pocket and tried to point it at them, but it shows in the video that he was clearly running away from them. And, they pum-pummed him in the back. Video footage get released. Rodney seen it and was like, yeah, I ride at dawn about my son. He rammed his car into the first police officer he seen, and rest in peace to the police officer. The police officer who got killed was not the police officer who killed the son, so I do not condone in taking an innocent life. That's why I can say we're tired. We're tired of explaining our pain to the system that wasn't built to protect us. Us. They want us to stay calm while they stay armed. They want us to trust them while we bury our people. To believe that there will be justice when justice never believed in us. We're not asking to be above the law. We're asking to not die by it. And Rodney Hinton Jr. was one of them ones.
That man went to court with 30 deputies staring him down, and he stared right back talking that ish. I don't know if white America is seeing a pattern here, right? Carmelo poking that white boy that bullied him. This black man unaliving a police officer because one of them police officers unalived his son who was unarmed. Y'all not seeing what's happening here? We're tired. We're tired. You guys claim that 13% of this population makes up 50% of the crime. Okay, then I guess we're gonna make sure that 50% of that crime goes to good use. Because that's where we at. Y'all keep playing on our top for the past 400 years, bro. And I think black people holistically has had enough. Has had enough. I have 4, soon to be 5 beautiful children. 3 biological, 1 stepson, and 1 baby on the way. If any one of them got unalived by the police, there's no telling what I would be capable of in that moment. There's no telling what I would be capable of doing, period. So before you even judge that man, put yourself in his shoes. Somebody unalive your kid, what you gonna do? Nothing? You're gonna sit and what? Pray? Especially if that's the only thing that was keeping you from being insane? No. You lose your child and you have nothing else left in this world? But what would you do?
No, it ain't. Because the more this shit has happened in the past, the less we're going to see that type of reaction in the future. Because any other time, all we seen is a bunch of motherfuckers robbing a Nike store or burning down a fucking Wendy's. This is like the one time where I could say in my lifetime, I've seen somebody do something in form of retaliation And it's still not getting anywhere. It's not gonna create this conversation where everybody comes together and understands some shit, because we got unanswered questions here. Did he have a gun? Did they plant the gun on him? These are questions we're not really gonna get a finite answer to that would satisfy everybody, because you already got people running around saying they planted a gun on him because, oh, it's so mystical that somebody could have a gun on them in America in 2025. You got people making these claims, oh, why are y'all worried about him stealing a car? They stole a car. It's this fucking ridiculous cascade that people are going to jump through hoops to try to justify one thing, ignore the next thing, think they could circumvent the conversation to talk about something else, and it's this big jungle gym of shit when we need to focus on if what occurred in this body cam footage was justified. And I'm gonna say it point blank period. If he had a gun and they could clear up that poor quality to see that he pointed that gun at the officer, I'ma say the shit justified. If he didn't have that gun pointed in any capacity to the point where they couldn't see it, I'm gonna start arguing that taser defense, which is something that has to be considered if they're just running away. Do I condone running away from the cops? Nope, because that's just gonna make them hawk you down, tackle you to the ground, and make it even more of a fucking spectacle for you. I would make the argument, don't steal fucking cars either, because why are you stealing everybody's cars? Yeah, I get it. We all don't like Kia Sorrentos and Kia Souls, but what the fuck are we doing? We don't need to be stealing other people's shit, because people work hard for all the shit that they could lease or rent or own and all this extra. And maybe I'm just controversial, but in your moments of grief, in losing a family member, turning into Batman, not really gonna save some shit. That's not even Batman. Turning into Deadpool, not really even gonna save you in that scenario, because there's no rationale that's gonna make these people say, you know what? We feel bad that you lost your son at these cops' hands. You're justified in killing this random cop that wasn't even there, who apparently was retired and was only just servicing his inner community to make sure kids cross the street. Yeah, we gonna let you go scot-free, because there are people who want to talk like that and want to sit there and say, yeah, you know, this is eye for an eye. But in reality, you sitting at home while that man going to jail. So congratulations, you ain't doing shit to this conversation either. It's confusing, it's embarrassing, and it's indicative of how we're not really getting anywhere as a society. We're not really getting anywhere in terms of understanding how we could get from point A to point B. We're just getting to point Z at this point, which is everybody just hating each other for different reasons, ones that make sense, ones that don't make any fucking sense. And I'm here to say, randomly killing a cop that didn't even partake in chasing down your son, yeah, that just don't make no fucking sense to me. And before you random motherfuckers try to morph me into a raccoon, I just have one question. Why haven't you made that attempt? You've been angry about things. You've bitched about how things are unfair, yet you're not making that stance to try to prove your point. I wonder what the reason is. Could it be that you don't want to go to jail? I know that's the reason, but I just want you to finally admit it instead of cheering on shit from miles or states away, thinking that you could be a part of that. You're not. You're a random person giving your opinion online, much like me. The difference is I'm not cheering on random dumb shit like this is the Boondocks. Why? Because the Boondocks taught me they got some ignorant black people out there who are desperate to see something and try to make it all about them and validate their fucking reasonings because they're dumber than a fucking stump. In the meantime, I would hearken that everybody just wait a little bit. You'll find out more information about this. There's no need for fanatical stories about how Spider-Man swooped up from the sewers and planted the gun on somebody, because we don't need that. Let the truth come out about this, and no matter what is said, no matter how it all plays apart, we're still gonna have to address that elephant in the room of this shit makes no fucking sense how this father responded. Because you could be mad, but you out your fucking mind if you think I'm about to sit here and condone a life being taken, and in response, we just start taking lives, because nothing gets solved doing that, and we end up more divided than we were before it even occurred. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah. Goodbye.